She's Anita at the creation of West Side Story. She's Bob Fosse's original Velma Kelly in Chicago. She has danced the tango nightly with Antonio Banderas in Nine, and still, she hates being called a star. Welcome to Women in Theater. I'm Linda Weiner, theater critic and arts columnist of Newsday. And our guest today is Chita Rivera, who has been doing the best with the best for half a century and just keeps on kicking.
That's nice, because I have been with the best.
It's looking back over all my favorite shows. You were there at the beginning.
Isn't that something? I mean, I didn't really realize. I've known how lucky I was, and I've been there every time I was fortunate enough to be in a position. I was aware that I was there. But it wasn't until the Kennedy Center when I saw part of my life.
This was Kennedy Center Honors, just this in 2002.
Yes, last year. And it wasn't until I saw that a part of my life in front of me, and I went, my goodness, I have been around a long time, and I really have done some amazing shows. I was there for some really good time.
Isn't that a great feeling? It must be.
It's a fabulous feeling to know that you've touched, or you've been touched by Jerome Robbins, Bob Fosse, Jack Cole, Peter Gennaro, all of them, Michael Kidd.
The Beatles.
The Beatles, yeah. It's funny. They always come down at the bottom of the list. Most people put them at the top. I put the choreographers at the top.
Now, you studied with Balanchine.
Yes, I did.
Let's start that. Okay.
Well, yeah, thank God I didn't know who he was. I actually auditioned for him for a scholarship, and because he taught the professional class, the ballet, the company class. And so it was pretty scary when I found out later on that it was Mr. Balanchine that put a Band-Aid on my heel, and and it was so kind and gentle to me. Had I known that, I don't know if I would have given as good an audition as I did, I guess.
Now you were 16.
I was 16 at that time.
We could do a little brief bio.
Sure.
Just okay.
Sure.
Born in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Father, Puerto Rican.
Yes, both. But my mother was part Irish and and Scottish, and there's a whole potpourri of nationalities in all of us, and there are 5 of us: Lolita, Julio, Carmen, Armando. We have beautiful names.
Beautiful.
Armando Modesto, Pedro Julio, Carmen Maria, and Lolita. And I'm Dolores Conchita.
Yes, Dolores Conchita and
Figueroa.
Rivero.
Right.
Lo siento mucho. Now, Julio was the theatrical one in the family, right?
Exactly.
And he was the one who was doing the shows in the basement.
Yes, that's right. He's the oldest brother, and we call him Mr. Belvedere now. But he was always the one that entertained the neighborhood, and we had a theater in the basement. And I would come back after my classes, and before he showed a movie like 1 Million BC with Victor Mature or something like that. And all the kids were invited. They paid 5 cents for the film. That was it. And I showed them what I learned in my class that day.
Were you the opening act?
I was the opening act. Yes.
And you had do splits.
Yes, I did splits.
It sounds very Baby June to me when I just
Oh, no. Oh, honestly, it was not. My mother had nothing to do with any of that. She only sent me to school, ballet school, just to make sure the house wasn't broken up, because I was a tomboy. That's the only reason.
But your dad, who died quite young,
right,
but was a clarinet player.
Yes, a saxophone and clarinet.
And he played in the pit in the Broadway production of Lady Be Good?
Oh.
Fred Astaire?
Well, maybe my brother said, I don't know.
Okay. You were quite young. I just wondered if you'd remembered that.
Yeah, no, that I don't remember. I do remember Harry James, and I do remember the Navy Band. That's all I know. And I remember Mother telling us we couldn't touch it, but his instruments were under the bed.
So this dancing thing happened.
Yeah.
Are dancers like, they're wired differently from other creatures?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, your training makes you react and act certain ways. it's an amazing process because it's a beautiful connection between body and spirit and energy and space and interpretation. It's the same thing as acting, only it's without words.
And so do you think about yourself, do you have a gypsy mentality?
Oh, yeah.
This is what I thought. When I was reading She Doesn't Want to Be Called a Star, I thought,
oh, yeah.
It's such a gypsy thing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a delicious thing to be a part of a unit. To have been in the chorus was to see the Rockettes. Why do you think they last as long as they do? Because people love the unison. And if we actually all thought about that in all of our lives, unison is a wonderful thing, to unite for one thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Lincoln Christine used to say that ballet was the art of consideration. It was part of that. It's the art of making other people look good.
Yeah, very good. Very
which
good.
I thought was lovely. Then.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Okay, so you auditioned for New York City Ballet, for the School of American Ballet.
Right.
And you got a scholarship, and you moved by yourself to New York. And
well, my mother brought me up.
Yeah.
My mother found a family that was a friend of my ballet teachers in Washington, and I stayed with that family for a while. Pardon me. And then I moved with another family that was a cousin of someone that was married to a cousin of mine that was married to someone who was their cousin. Then that was kind of funny. So I then moved with my uncle Luciano, my father's brother, whom I had found. We didn't know he was in the Bronx.
How'd you get the nerve to come to New York to do this?
I think you're born with it. I mean, I think if you have something that you really enjoy, that you look forward to doing, that you feel good at doing, and your mother says it's okay, and you're covered, you know, you have these angels around you that are pushing you, I think you just go ahead and do it. I think you just do it.
And then
I felt very safe at the school. The teachers were all like mothers. Teachers are like parents.
do you think that the ballet training helped you in your longevity now?
Totally.
I mean, really,
no.
because it is quite amazing what you're still doing. I
Yeah.
don't mean to
No,
make
no,
you sound...
I understand that. I do understand. I'm finally beginning to understand it. I keep thinking that I'm 25, you know. So that's why I have no mirrors in my house. I lie. Gojo was a joker. But absolutely, my ballet training has guided me through my entire life. Not just my professional life, but being focused and attempting to be organized and being responsible and communicating. All of those words I've used before have helped me in my friendships, in my everything.
But you didn't know you were going to go into show business.
No. I just was taken out of the house because I was a tomboy and I broke up all the furniture. Then I won a scholarship because my teacher believed in me. And I was guided into my life, you know, and in a very fortunate and loving way. And I came along at a time where there were amazingly gifted people, great shows.
What a time to be alive.
What a time.
And working.
Yeah.
Was when you went to audition for your first show.
Yeah, Call Me Madam.
For Call Me Madam, and Jerome Robbins picked you.
Right.
And you went on the road, and there you were.
Well, that's amazing that my mother allowed me. But Mother came to New York. She spoke to two people that were in the company, the stage manager first. Then there were two people that played the Duck and the Duchess, the Duke and the Duchess. I knew I would say that one day. I finally said it.
I'm so glad it was here. I'm so honored that you did it here.
The Duck and the Duchess. And so they were mature people, and they sort of acted as my chaperones.
Wow.
You know, of course they couldn't find me once I got on the road, but Mother was very satisfied with meeting these people.
When Robbins cast you as Anita in West Side Story,
Right.
1957.
Right.
Did everybody there know that they were doing something brilliant?
No.
I mean, did Leonard Bernstein and
I
Stephen Sondheim and Jerome, did these people just say, look what we've got, or did you have no sense?
Well, I think at a certain point when they're creating it before we even come in, say, their meetings and they're putting it together and the ideas and all of that, I think they said, I think we've got something interested and we're all interested in it. Let's do it. That in itself is acknowledging that they have something. And as we went along, we certainly didn't know. It was a job. We wanted to please these amazing teachers that we had in front of us. We wanted to suddenly speak, suddenly sing, suddenly discover ourselves through the play. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. It was an experience the likes of which I only wish every person and every young person in the business could have.
To start out with the masterwork?
With the masters.
With the masters.
With the masters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you also met your husband there.
Yes, my ex-husband.
Your ex-husband, who played Arab. See, I learned every word to West Side Story.
This is
great. West Side Story and Gypsy, I learned every word to growing up. So anyway, he was Arab. That's so
right.
romantic.
So brilliant a dancer, so adorable as a guy. I just fell head over heels. First, I think, over his dancing, his ability. Jerry was crazy about him too. His name was Tony Mordenti.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his family lives out on Long Island, and his mother is still with us, and she's lovely, and I adore her.
And the father of your daughter.
And
the father of your daughter, Lisa.
The thing that I will always love Tony for one particular reason, and that is my daughter, Lisa. He gave me my daughter, Lisa. And my dog, Arab.
All right. Now we're getting to the animal meat. This is my subject.
Serious.
Now, okay, you had about 1 million Tony nominations. This is boring, I know, but you had 1 million Tony nominations, and always a bridesmaid.
It's getting so, by the way, boring. Years ago, I used to say boring. No, it's not boring now. This is my life. It's all I've got.
That's a good one.
Not boring.
Yeah. Okay, so I just mean the award thing is boring.
Sure.
I didn't mean the life was
That,
boring.
not even that.
Okay.
Not even that.
So, nomination, not win.
Right.
And then Kander and Ebb,
right.
who of course right now are, beloved yet again for cabaret in Chicago.
That's right.
Wrote a song for your act called Losing.
Losing, extraordinary song. And it was a song about a teacher who has these students, and she teaches them the do-dos and the don't-dos of the Tony Awards. So when you go to the Tonys, I don't remember the lyric now, but I mean, you don't stand on a chair and pull your hair and and yank the woman. What you do is say how lovely it is, and isn't it wonderful, and I'm happy for you. I would much prefer you win than me. The obvious lie. And it was terribly funny.
So you can't sing the song anymore after 1984 when you won for the Ring.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I was very happy to get that Tony, but I was very unhappy to lose that song, because that song was a good song.
I really liked the Rink a lot. And,
Thank you, because I
thought
did
that
too.
I left there and thought that I had just seen something really important.
I'm so glad
with
to hear
Liza
that.
Minnelli, Kander and Ebb score,
Right.
and then it turned out not to be as well received
Right.
as I thought.
I thought it was an amazing story of forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I had the
mother-daughters.
Yeah, and mother-daughter.
Yeah.
And I had a beautiful picture of the Pope, was it Sirhan that attempted to kill Pope John the 23rd? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But anyhow,
I only know my assassinations through Sondheim. Do you know?
Oh,
I know
I see.
assassins. If I go back, I'll check.
I see.
Yes.
But I had a beautiful picture of the two of them. The attempted assassinator was kneeling in front of the Pope, and the Pope was holding his hand and his head. And it was a beautiful picture of forgiveness, and that's what the Rink was about. Mother and daughter separated, loving each other, and forgiving each other at the end of the play.
It'll be back. You know, someone will say they'll revive it the way it.
I think
and everyone will say, "Gee, that was a good show.
Oh,
Whatever
yeah.
happened to that?" Okay, second Tony for Kiss the Spider Woman.
Right.
Here it is, 1993, and you are this femme fatale. You are the fantasies of this man's 40s movie goddesses.
Right.
And you are the image of death.
Right.
I mean, not a really bad death, sort of a.
No.
You were a nice death.
I worked very hard to make her a loving
A welcoming-
death.
a welcoming
death. Yes.
Yes, not the abyss one. Yeah.
No. I was fascinated by it. I've always have been fascinated by that, by death. And I was thrilled to get a part that I could examine and I could try to interpret. And I think we succeeded in making her loving and caring.
And what about you scaling the?
Yeah.
You really.
Wasn't that fun?
You.
Well, I told you I was a tomboy.
You were a tomboy.
Yeah.
I guess that's where
So
it
that
came
was very
from.
easy.
But you,
And
there
those
you
challenges.
were just stuck to the fences up there.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Even to this day, I mean, I actually wanted to fly from the balcony onto the stage, but they had me, doing other things instead. But to this very day, I still love that sort of thing,
What do you think Bob Fosse would think now about what's happened to his musical Chicago?
I think he would say, wow, it has had so many incarnations. This is amazing. I'm thrilled it's still going. And when you have a real celebrity come around the corner, we were not celebrities when we did it.
Well, you and Gwen Verdon.
We were not celebrities. Melanie Griffith is a celebrity, and she just did Roxy. Well, she still, she did Roxy.
But she doesn't sing and she doesn't dance. And do you look at it and think, wait, this is a singing, dancing show. This is a show about dance. This is a dance-driven show. It doesn't
Well, I will always think that.
annoy you a little bit? That they think they can plug in somebody who looks good and...
But they do.
But this is life now, right? This is
life.
I did review the opening of Chicago in New York in 1975, and it lost the Tony Award to Chorus Line that year.
We knew that was going to happen.
Similarly, West Side Story lost the Tony Award to Music Man that year. So,
absolutely.
Awards. So,
If that doesn't teach you a lesson, nothing does.
and the first time I saw it, I didn't get it. And
Why?
I thought it was cold, and I just didn't get the combinations of the style. I don't know. It was such a long time ago. I would have to go back and
Right,
find out.
yeah, I
But I
understand.
know that I reviewed it for the Chicago Tribune,
Right.
and then the show came to Chicago with a minor cast.
That's right.
And I reviewed it, and I said, I still don't get this show.
Still didn't.
And then you and Gwen
came
Verdon
back.
came into the show in Chicago.
Right.
I re-reviewed it, and I said, I was wrong. I get it. This is a wonderful show, and I don't think I've ever done that. Well, actually, I did it one other time recently with the goat.
Okay.
I think you have to have that freedom to be able to say, I blew it. I didn't see it.
Well, I think that's human, and I truly congratulate you because most people don't do that.
But it took me a long time, and while it certainly. Chicago was very successful. It ran for several years. It had a road company, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't what it became on Broadway in the revival.
Right. Well, history has helped that along.
Because
Because there have been an awful lot of celebrities that have been made even bigger because of the murders that they have committed.
it's so timely
It's
now.
scary. It's scary. What we were doing at the time, because it's always been like that. It's just that now it's so
prescient.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, it's horrific what we're saying here. But we were sort of exposing it a bit. Nobody was really, they didn't really think that, okay, so it happened. It's happened in history.
Right.
But it's,
It's 1924.
These are not attractive people.
Right.
These are not nice people. I remember my darling Freddie not liking Bonjour.
Freddie.
Ebb, I'm sorry. Ebb.
That's okay.
I just know them all.
Okay.
Fred Ebb, because I said, why Freddie? And he said, well, because they're not nice people. Well, I said, but gypsies do what gypsies do.
You played a gypsy,
And
a real
I played
gypsy.
a real gypsy.
Not a showbiz
That's
gypsy.
Right, that's right.
And yet, Fred Ebb at Kander and Ebb musicals, so much of it is about people who are attractively not nice.
Well, there we go. We have to be careful what we say, don't we? Pardon me.
How frustrating must it be to not be in the movies of the roles that you created? I don't know. It's it's ancient history, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. But with West Side, it was. I had come up and I had an interview with Robert Weiss, but I was doing Bye Bye Birdie with Dick Van Dyke in Philadelphia at the Shubert Theater, and of course they would not wait for me to see whether or not the show was a hit or not, whether it was going to run. But I had the interview anyhow. I was extremely grateful to God that Bye Bye Birdie was a hit. Because I think I would have, I think my heart would have been broken a bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm a person that, pardon me, is very grateful for what I have. Yeah. And Birdie was a smash. It was a wonderful, wonderful smash.
But you didn't get the movie for Birdie
but
either.
That's cool. But you know what? Because I would much rather breathe the first breath of life into a character than to be on film. You can't have it all. I mean, you just can't. I've known that, I guess, all my life. But since you can't have it all, better you be there when it starts out, in the original.
It's true. Those are the amazing times. How do you feel about revivals now? Do we have too many revivals?
A lot. I think we need some originals. Yeah. I really think that's what we do so brilliantly. I know everybody's playing it safe, and the revival of 9 was is extraordinary, I think.
Yes, yes.
And I love the first one. I think this one, is extraordinary. And of course there's room for revivals, there's room for all of it. Why can't we have all of it, But everybody's running scared.
And if you could...
I mean, what's going to happen to the writers?
What is going to happen to the writers? Do you think that that there are the writers now? I mean, there's been years of training programs for bringing up the next generation of...
Yeah. Oh, there must be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm afraid we've lost a lot to television. That's where the money is. And people don't like to take chances in the theater, unfortunately. I think we desperately need to take those chances again. And that's what we want to do with The Visit.
Now, The Visit. The Visit has been an on and again, off again, on again, off again. You tell me it is on again, which is very nice, which also another Kander and Ebb musical.
Right.
And was originally going to be done by Angela Lansbury, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. But Angela's husband became very ill. So I was a lucky girl, and so they called me. And now it's all built around me, And Angela and I are totally different. We did it at the Goodman Theater in Chicago. It was very successful.
And now there's some room. You believe that it's going to be done here in the 2003-4 season.
That's what Chita is praying for.
That's what Chita is.
That's we're all praying for.
Well, okay.
It's Frank Galati, Anne Reinking, Terrence McNally, Kander and Ebb.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Frank Langella.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, come on.
When your leg, when you broke your leg in the car accident in '88, and
that's the year. Okay.
Okay. The year is '88.
I'm to forget things that I don't want to.
Yeah. Horrible car accident. Broke your leg in 12 places.
14.
14.
Right.
12 screws. 14 screws. 14 screws. I got the wrong number of screws. Okay. And look at you. I mean, did you ever think you were going to dance again?
Never thought of it. That's what training does. Never thought of it. Just went, the x-ray said, oh, you've really done yourself in. It's broken and ba-da-ba-da. And I went, and I clearly remember clicking. Wow. Just a click. It was like a gear shift. And I went, okay. And when we have to work. So Dr. John Comrade at Lenox Hospital put me back together again, you know, and God let me carry on. If it had happened, you know, when I was in my 20s, it may have affected it a little bit more. I was lucky it happened when it did.
Okay, here's a Chita Rivera quote from 1975 in the Village Voice. I have this picture of myself getting up one morning.
That's right.
And there's my talent lying there. And I say, come on, just give me one more day.
That's it. I have this picture of extension, of everything else just still lying on the bed. And I'm standing above it going, just one more day.
And
It's a
it
funny
goes
image.
on and on and on and on, and we're so lucky to have you.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
You've also said, I'm chiffon, but I can also be steel.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah.
You have to be able to have all of those textures. That's what we all have.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to channel it and use it in the right way.
And how important was it for you to not just dance, but act and sing too?
Well, it was a natural process, which I had no idea would happen. To be lucky enough to be hired, I mean, all of the luck of it all comes into the picture also, you know. And to have critics say it's okay so that you can continue. But
It's all the critics' fault.
well, that's another show.
Okay, that's another show. If as a woman, there were one thing that you could do to change the theater right now, you could snap your fingers and change it. Is there something?
As a woman?
As a woman for women.
Oh.
If it's irrelevant, you don't have to answer.
Well, I mean,
If it's irrelevant, then that's great.
female women, wonderful women directors, you know. I just worked with a fabulous Lisa Peterson. We did The House of Bernarda Alba, and she was wonderful. And I would love to see more intelligent, passionate, compassionate women directors.
More of them getting jobs.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Graciela Danielle is also another one who's a wonderful directress.
Absolutely.
You know, and more roles for women.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to the next one from you, and the next one, and the next one after that.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, Chita
Thank you.
Rivera.
My pleasure.
And thank you for being here. On behalf of the League of Professional Theater Women, I'm Linda Weiner, and this has been Women in Theater.